All right, my fellow lifelong learners, the next lesson is use blocks of time. This is such a powerful tool to use, especially if you have a very busy schedule. And the world also has so many different distractions in your everyday life. Think about all the things that distract you from accomplishing the goals that you have in mind. If you have any rules whatsoever, you know that there are things that will distract you. You've got the TV, you've got the internet, social media, blog articles, friends, and even family sometimes can distract you from getting some focused work done. So, not to say that all of these things are bad. On the contrary, some of them can help you to be even more productive. And some of them are actually very important, such as spending time with your family. I mean, you cannot let work get in the way of that. The key is not to get so distracted, though, right? These things will get in your way if you let them get in your way. So let's take one of the most important things in your life, your family, for an example. Because of everyone's family is a little bit different, and each family has a very big role to play in everyone's life, and also achieving your success too, right? Think about the person. If you are married, think about the person that you have married, and think about how that person can help you progress, also how that person can hold you back. And I'm not a marriage counselor or anything like that, but I believe that if you're working towards some sort of big goal, that your partner should allow you to do that. But everything, of course, has to have balance. Everything has to have balance. So the first thing you could do, whether you're married or not, is set boundaries as to when you want to work on your projects or read. Oftentimes, people ask me how I can get so much reading time in since I'm actually married and I have kids too. I have a job and my kid is a toddler. So, wow, it's a whole lot of work. So, if you have a kid and a spouse and a job, you know that a lot of that will take up most of your time. I always answer people with one simple sentence. I prioritize my time between my job, reading, projects, family, and free time. If the person asks further, I can break it down into individual blocks of time. For example, I spend 8 hours at work, an hour of which is spent reading during breaks and lunchtime, and even after I finish some of my task. I spare about another hour for reading in the evening. After arriving home, I spend 4 hours with my family, then 2 hours working on projects, and other hour I have just a free time before sleeping. As you can see, my day is fairly evenly broken into blocks of time, which I feel is best for both my family and my mental stability, my energy. Although I'd prefer to have more time for my projects, my schedule just does not allow it. For now, as I want to find a balance between work and life. And the same thing goes for you too. Like, you want to break your day into blocks. So think about how much time you spend at work if you have a job, or at school if you're going to university. Think about how much time you spend there, calculate that, write it down, and then think about how much time you do other things, such as how much time do you, if you play video games, right? How much time do you watch movies? How much time do you spend with your family? So write all this stuff down and then see if you can shave any of those unnecessary things down so that you can make more time for reading, more time for working on a project, more time for maybe you need to do extra work for your office and you couldn't fit it in at work. So maybe you want to put like an hour block in at home if it doesn't disturb your time with your family, right? So break everything into blocks and then make sure you stick to those blocks of time. Like, just to expand on what I was saying earlier, like I will spend 2 hours each day up in my office at my house working on any sort of odd projects that I have for Bookmatic. So, like in the creation of this online course, for example, I would spend 2 hours recording the videos, making the slides, doing all sorts of things like that. Also, for like blogs, if you have a blog and you like to write in your blog, you can spend 2 hours writing in your blog. Or you could even break that whole block down into smaller blocks. So if you have multiple tasks, but you only have 2 hours to work on those tasks, let's say, for example, you have to write a blog post, you have to create a video for your social media, and you have to create the description for that video as well. So think about like those three tasks, right? So you can break that 2 hours up down into like 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there, another 45 minutes there, something like that. Okay? So I hope this makes sense to you. Now I would like you to block out your typical day, just your average day, and send a copy of that to matt@bookmatic.com, and then move on to the next lesson after you're done.